Yo, what's up guys, Nakma here and back with more RWBY videos, and the creator is the dual wielder. From what I've seen, he's a pretty cool guy, and some of his videos are very interesting, very educational, and I'm really glad that videos like this exist.
Salutation.
So without further ado, let's just watch.
Everybody, and welcome to RWBY Revisited. This time, let's have a discussion about Robyn. Please note that spoilers for all currently released volumes will follow, and any information revealed or expounded upon in supplementary material won't be weighted as heavily as that which is featured in the show. Now, Robyn has been a divisive topic amongst the viewers of the show. Some people claim that she's the worst character, while others say that she's been one of the best. But which of these viewpoints holds true? To begin, let's recap what we've seen of this character. Firstly, no mention is made of her before Volume 7. This could either be because she didn't have political traction at the time, she hadn't been written yet, or wasn't relevant to the characters in each scene. This does mean that we have less material to go on, however. She's first mentioned by a rather fanatical individual on the shuttle after the main cast have been apprehended on their arrival in Mantle. While this man seems to be rather questionable, he states that Robyn and her happy huntresses are focused on improving conditions in Mantle, and that they chose not to serve in the Atlas military. We saw firsthand that Grimm are able to freely roam the streets of Mantle, with only a few scattered and inept mechs to oppose them. Grimm should never get this far. Atlas has a colossal tech advantage not just over the Grimm, but over the rest of Remnant as well. Airship patrols, outposts, minefields, all of these could shred any Grimm before they ever get within miles of Mantle. But no, somehow they're here.
How could this happen?
The only thing separating Mantle from the Grimm is a wall. That's it. With all of Atlas's technological might, a simple wall of sheet metal is what's barring their way. What's less reasonable is him not fixing.
Yeah, like Iron was always kind of only cared about Atlas. Like at the start of the volume, you see that Ironwood had the Mantle under a hard control. Surveillance cameras everywhere. There's a bunch of robots roaming on the street. Like, he doesn't give a flying fuck about Mantle. He only cares about Atlas because it's his country. I mean, this isn't necessarily an issue. This is more of an, oh, I wish there was more RWBY, in the sense that I wish there was time for the show to show that Atlas is much better off the Mantle. And in a way, it kind of shows off in volume 4 and 5. Then again, I don't think the embargo was that heavy at that time. But even then, you generally just have the idea that Mantle had it way harder than Atlas. Not just because, the people of Atlas are rich and the people of Mantle are poor. Not just because of that, but because of Ironwood's bias in the sense that he just likes Atlas more. And I'm not necessarily saying that
There are more individuals that citizens can cast their vote for other than her or Jacques, but it would seem that these candidates don't even manage to scrape a single percentage of the votes combined, as Ironwood is monitoring the current results, which depict Robyn in the lead.
Wow, yeah. I mean, that's weird. I mean, are you sure you understood it? Because there's some sort of a different rounds. We don't know much about the election system. So it's possible that there were 4 candidates and whoever had the two most candidates duke it out in the finals.
Percentage of the votes combined, as Ironwood is monitoring the current results, which depict Robyn in the lead 70-30 over Jacques Schnee. I mean, why would you vote for Jacques? And frames Penny for murder and attempting to take Robyn's life. There's just a few problems with this sequence of events. Firstly, Penny has lights on her person, meaning that she'll stand out like a lighthouse in a complete...
I mean, to be fair, he's saying that Penny has lights. We don't know, this is only a small light, right? And even it's debatable whether it's just this way only so that for the viewers to catch, not necessarily for the characters. And even then, you can only see her eyes. It might only glow a little in the dark, like some of those glow toys.
Meaning that she'll stand out like a lighthouse in a completely dark room.
Yeah, I don't know what is going on about this lighting up in the dark. She's not going to light up that visibly in the dark.
If Ironwood wanted to kill you, Robyn, why would he do it so blatantly? Third, if this was an assassination, never matches that of the murder victims. Second, if Ironwood wanted to kill you, Robyn, why would he do it so blatantly? Third, if this was an assassination attempt, you'd be dead, not the random people in the back. And
yeah, unfortunately, it's kind of like one of those circumstantial evidence.
She seems to believe.
Yes, Robyn could, if she was like truly smart, she would have figured out that she wouldn't survive if the culprits truly wanted
for some reason,
her dead.
Ironwood wants her dead. Why?
But she could also deduce that I was just too lucky, and that the lights came on just before Penny attempted to murder her. Doing the detective job is hard. So even in this circumstance, giving Robyn a little bit of an blaming her for not figuring out the truth is kind of
vigilante.
Hard.
Right. Give her less classified intel in a show of good faith, and if she proves trustworthy over time, she can be brought more and more into his circle, and he gains an ally. This would mean that Robyn could assist him in keeping the people of Mantle placated, but he would then also have an advisor and someone to manage that particular front. Seeing as he has no support staff of any sort, and all matters go straight to him, this is something he desperately needs.
I mean, yeah, he needs it, he just doesn't really want to admit it.
This is something he desperately needs. Option 3. Do nothing. This is what Ironwood chose, and it was by far the worst option.
I mean, then again, it's the worst option because trying to kill Robyn is arguably the worst option. And then again, it really depends on how you do things, right? Even like something like assassinations. Ironwood isn't that much of a jackass, right?
Out of his
he only decided to move Atlas and abandon Mantle and later bomb up Mantle, all because of Salem kind of forced his hand.
Ironwood stuck.
So, saying that Robyn, trying to kill Robyn is being the best move is not only arguably, at least not the worst move, is arguably wrong, and also Ironwood's not even that petty. Not in Volume 8, Ironwood will do something like that just out of nowhere.
And with that, his grasp on the security of Atlas waned. He orders that Robyn be apprehended.
It's kind of like one of those, in hindsight, situations. Who knows? It's also one of those, hypotheticals, right? Like, what if I would decide to just kill Robyn?
Blake have other ideas.
But killing an entire person and who's a political candidate and leader of the Hunters team is kind of a really risky move.
When Robyn intercepts their vehicle that was sent out as bait.
And also really petty because you can't just kill someone for stealing your truck one or two times. Yeah, I mean, allying with her might have been
necessarily
arguably the best move. But I think Ironwood was just kind of underestimating Robyn, and also he might have just been thinking about catching her on the act of stealing.
Think about Amity.
Rather than anything. And he kind of does do just something afterwards. For example, deploying Blake and Yang inside the car.
She is.
When Robyn decides to go full aggro is one move, and also I would also hope that Robyn would actually win the election. Therefore, therefore Ironwood would have to reveal information to her regardless when she joins the council, or maybe after joining the council, Robyn will be too busy helping Mantle in other ways to not care.
Council member. Thus, we can deduce that Ironwood has completely buckled under the pressure and created enemies that would otherwise have been allies.
The bomb carrier is looking angry!
People often debate whether Ironwood or Robyn are better, and I side with Robyn. But I'm not without reasons. I discussed Ironwood in a previous video.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to side with the guy that was trying to blow up Mantle.
But to keep it brief.
And also was being super paranoid about a lot of things.
Well.
Now this section is really funny. It's kind of somewhat accurate, but there's also a lot of debatable stuff, right? Yeah, but you can't blame him for the events of Volume 3. And also, he did learn from the events of Volume 3 in that he did update his cybersecurity. None of those robots are being possessed by WATs. I mean, they had been hacked by Watts, but towards the end, only when he had more access to the inner side of Atlas. Watts took Jox's personal information, so then he was able to hack. So, and the dust embargo, yeah, in the overall grand scheme of things, it definitely was a bad idea, simply because Salem's own forces are very small. You can't just pull down and close the entire kingdom just so you wouldn't let a few handful of people not enter. Then again, I would also probably lacked in the information that Salem's actual human forces are small. Then again, not the greatest of the decisions anyway. He just doesn't like it when other people do their own things or when other people tell him what to do. I mean, it's also because of the Amity Tower, right? He was so concerned about the Amity Tower that he didn't care to improve Mantle. To be fair, I mean, this is not necessarily a blunder, it's more like an advantage that he really want to improve on in Volume 8 by killing all the other council members. Like I said, it's kind of hard to call this a blunder because there was a chance that Robyn was going to win the council anyway. And if Robyn wins the council, it's better than Jox actually winning and having a seat in the council. So in a way, actually I would wanted to have Robyn as the winner of the election, but he also wasn't open enough to connect with him. He is absolutely right in the way that Ironwood was being very wishy-washy. So in that sense, this argument is criticism of his character is valid. I'm just saying, well, it's a hard situation anyway, right? He's just kind of like testing the water, seeing what will Robyn do and analyze her character more. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a Doom strategy from the beginning. Like, I think like the writers of RWBY are ingenious in the sense that they always make the characters, like main characters, almost always do the kind of the right thing. But at the same time, there is so much like debate, doubt, and regarding what is the actual right move, right? Like Atlas, like flying into the sky is one move, but at the same time, it's kind of a trap. And I'm not saying that just because, I'm a Team RWBY fan and I only follow their order. No, if I was in a similar situation, I probably would have done the similar thing to Team RWBY did. I probably would have been very similar to RWBY in mentality. I was actually hoping that they would manage to stall against Salem for a long time until they make the Amity Tower announcement happen. And then help will come and at least evacuate everyone. Else I was hoping for that, but that plan kind of screwed up. Yeah, it's bad. There's no excusing that. It's just shows Ironwood's own ego and just his own stubbornness, his own unwillingness to cooperate with other people. Blunder in the grand scheme of things, but people do these kinds of stuff for a reason. It's not a great move, but that's the thing about egos, right? They think they're so better than everyone else. They think they're so superior. They don't need anyone's advice. They don't need anyone's help. They can do everything by themselves with hard work and effort and sacrifices and blah blah blah. And the only tools that for all of their every order is desired. That's why like Team Aesop's are like the way they are. I mean, to be fair, what the hell would have Watts even said to him? They probably did try to interrogate him off screen. And even then, what the hell are you like going to interrogate him about for, right? Like Salem is like at the door with a whale. What are you going to ask him? To be fair, a lot of community shit did happen to me that makes Ironwood kind of like fuck up. Like him like giving virus to Penny. Like how the hell would Ironwood supposed to know that Penny will be literally holding up the Amity Tower when he gave him her the virus, right? Then again, him not trying to fix the Amity Tower when it was so easy to do that, it was kind of a dick move. Not fixing the Amity. I also put like not fixing the Amity Tower himself and finishing the tower himself in here. I don't think it's actually in one of here, but it is one of the biggest blunders in my opinion because it was so easy to do it. Or otherwise, maybe only Pietro could have done it. But come on, someone else could have finished the tower. This is done so that Iron would have more hostages. Yeah, boy, it's bombing time. To be fair, I think Winter didn't tell Ironwood about the evacuation and the teleporting portals. And Ironwood also didn't know that. So I'm pretty sure during this fight, Ironwood actually did not know about the evacuation. Winter just didn't try to reason with him. And yes, it also kind of like makes me wonder what would have happened if like Winter told Ironwood about Osprey returning and like them opening up the portals while fighting. Like it's entirely possible that like Ironwood like gave up and like decided to team up with Winter. There's also the possibility that Ironwood just go, nah, fuck your portals. I want my flying kingdom. My flying kingdom, that's what's important to me. Super ultra mega flying fortress go. That might have been his argument, so.
We have 3 candidates to be in charge of matters in Atlas. The first is Ironwood, the second is Robyn, and the third is Jacques. Now, we all know that Jacques...
Yeah! Yeah, like, by process of elimination, Robyn is the better one.
Jacques is a sleazy, wretched, sniveling asp of a man, so that counts him out. I included him only...
Yeah, I'm pretty damn sure if Robyn was in Ironwood's position, she would have handled everything so much better.
Because he was in the running in the poll.
She wasn't like being afraid of anything. She's like super cocky and super energetic and super hot-headed, but she's still very compassionate. She's still, reasonable, try to reason with others. And she's not consumed by fear and paranoia. She's not egoistic. She doesn't try to do everything all by herself.
For all the reasons listed previously.
But, she kind of sometimes try to do that. But even then, she's really open to Crow when she was in prison. You kind of, just by seeing her interact with other people and how she's kind of being interacting with other people, you kind of have a feeling that Robyn is just a very humble person.
So off the table.
Whereas Ironwood, he kind of got the whole hero charade up in his head, kind of similar to Adam.
He commands everything in Atlas with no visible support staff and has proved to come up short on every turn.
You know how much I sacrificed?
Oh yeah, this is really fitting in a very funny meme.
With Robyn, she assists Crow and Clover in taking Tyrion down, though unless Ironwood planned to interrogate him, they should have just killed him instead. This decision exacerbates what will come later.
Yeah, in this circumstance, killing Tyrion was like, but it's all like in hindsight, right? If there was some if the story kind of like moved in a different direction and Tyrion was imprisoned and then like Team RWBY or some sort of a psychologist comes in and like talks to Tyrion like, bro, you gotta chill, dude. You gotta love life more. You gotta love life, man, and you gotta like stand up against all this stuff and like you gotta stand up against Salem and like Tyrion's like, oh my god, like holy shit. You're telling the truth. Like I was a horrible person. I want to change. Like I'm gonna do good in this world. And if like suddenly he did a 180, Tyrion is the least of the villains to do a 180. But in some circumstances, he did do a 180. You will say something like, "Oh my fucking god! It's such a good thing that Tyrion wasn't killed."
Exacerbates.
But unfortunately, I think one of the biggest issue of this isn't necessarily a problem about RWBY. This is necessarily a problem of our humanity as a whole. Is that we just kind of assume that putting people in prison is just going to fix all the problems. We just put people in jail and hope that things will better themselves when it really doesn't. We do no effort to like actually change other people's minds and help them.
Ironwood, but she handled this remarkably poorly. An odd point in the choreography here is that when Crow and Clover get into the bind with their weapons, Robyn attacks their weapons instead of Clover.
Yeah, she was just mad that Crow was trying to talk it out.
Why would you do this instead of...
Yeah, like this is also one of the flaws of Robyn. She doesn't want to talk it out
eliminating or
try to understand the other people.
subduing him were
She's a very action-based person.
not put under arrest. Crow and the others were, and no charges were placed against them. This
So yeah, it's a very weird scenario where, and this isn't necessarily a RWBY thing. I think people in general are just kind of like that. Crow is an alcohol addict. He's constantly being pessimistic, but in this circumstance, he's the least like awful person. Like despite his alcoholism, despite his negativity and like his
and the
self-hatred,
others were,
he's kind of the least bit of an asshole here.
no charges were placed against
But
them.
even then, that doesn't mean much because I think Crow also has his own problems.
This is
Like every person has their own problems.
an incredibly
Even
suspicious
me.
action. While imprisoned, she berates Jacques, reassures Crow, and seethes at Watts, but can't do anything as of yet. It's not much, but it is unfortunately more than any other leader figure has done in a long time. She even confronts Harriet, and
Yeah, she's really like charismatic and talkative, where she needs to be. It's not like she lacks the skill. She just thinks that it's better to like rush an opponent and like attack them when they're off guard rather than try to talk it out
life
first.
difficult for that one earns points and
She only like results in talking after the fact that she can't do anything through action.
my book, the rank. Please do. Someone threatening to bomb the populace for funsies isn't the good guy.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily a fun situation. Like he really just wanted to have the hostage, as many hostages as possible.
Robyn and Crow subdue the remaining 3 Aesops with the help of Marrow, and then they begin to handcuff them. You probably should have simply executed them, as they are far too dangerous to be left alive.
I mean, that's also like an interesting take because I was also like there was a point in a certain time that I thought, hey, maybe killing the Aesops while they were knocked out, Team RWBY killing them, or maybe killing them here would have been like a good idea. But like, it's such a cruel thing, especially considering
but-
just how like great of a people Elm and Wine
Most
were.
good aligned characters across all
And even Marrow himself was like fighting against Team RWBY like a volume ago,
media.
and now he's like doing the right thing. It's really cruel to just go like kill Happy with
Yeah,
like in
don't-
this circumstance.
seem to want to do that.
And I don't think Robyn or Crow were the type of like people to do that. And I know that Dual Wielder himself is trying to be very shrewd, and he has a point. The worst aspect about is the fact that killing the Aesops here had a point. They really like they could have just like as soon as Marrow started like freezing them, Crow could just like grabbed his sword and started slicing Harriet's. But I think Marrow would have like rebelled against him at that point, and and the fight would have like broken out. It's
For
such
some
a cruel
reason,
thing to do,
Proving my point, Watts then disrupts them with a
especially considering that they just like, due to a very hard circumstance of sailing, literally being at their door and them being forced into an ultimatum. Like no matter what you choose, it's kind of like you're kind of fucked, right? Even if you decide to protect Mantle and fight Salem to protect everyone, you're in a sort of a suicidal mission.
destructing mech, and
So you can't blame the Aesops for like completely being loyal to Ironwood. And even then, they kind of like trust Ironwood
Harry-
and hope that he knows what he's doing, right?
escapes with the bomb. If you had killed her, she wouldn't be able to try and enact Ironwood's murder plot.
That's cool, dog. Again, this isn't necessarily a problem of the writing. And I don't think even like Dual Wielder himself was like arrogant enough to say that the writers are idiots and they never thought about this situation or something like that. Because they were clearly thought about it. There's just no way Robyn or Crow or Marrow will even mention that possibility of just simply killing the
also heard
Aesops right here.
A good number of people criticize Robyn for pursuing Harriet's shuttle with one of her own. Detractors claim that Vine was about to talk her out of bombing Mantle, and Robyn disrupted that. Firstly, wow, that's reaching about as hard as you can get.
Yeah, this argument is like this is the dumbest part. I think it's entirely emotional.
Harriet wants to bomb innocent civilians.
Like, there was no way for Robyn to know what the hell was going on. And by the way, Robyn and Crow did exactly the same thing. So why is Crow not hated as well?
Under Ironwood's command,
It's so
and
dumb.
Vine managed to catch up to her.
This is not one of the reasons to
anyone knew-
like hate her, right?
They both wanted to drop said bomb. So tell me, how would anyone know that Vine was
There's no way Robyn or Crow was in the wrong. Like, no way.
having second thought?
It was impossible for them to know that
The answer,
Wine was
nobody
talking
could have
to
known.
Harriet in
Robyn
this
is a hero
situation.
here. This is objective
And
fact.
the only way you will like think that Robyn is hateable because of this action is really because you
Ultimately,
wanted to
Vine
Mal
contains
to
the
be
blast,
bombed.
leaving Robyn
Or
with
you're just a hater.
Crow. She actually cares about the people she's supposed to protect, unlike Ironwood, who couldn't even be bothered to fix a single hole in a wall. She isn't the best leader that there
Yeah, I mean, how hard could this have been, right?
who couldn't even be bothered to fix a single
I mean, to be fair, like trying to build a wall that can stop a Grim is kind of hard.
hole in a wall. She isn't
And who knows? Maybe the hole existed because of another attack that
the
happened.
best leader
you know?
that there could
You don't
be,
know that.
but she's the best we've got. The rampant defending of Ironwood, involving cherry-picking small good deeds he did, or outright coming up with fictitious events to defend him, leaves me flummoxed. But these are my observations. You leaving a
Fantastic video, and by the way, I'm so surprised that your video has so few views. Like, that's so tragic. Honestly, I think you deserve a better, man. And fantastic video, and I'll just keep reacting to your videos more and more. Yeah, but like this is the thing about the people complaining about the writing. Like, just put yourself in. People just lack the ability to put themselves in other people's shoes, and also people just overestimate themselves so much. Like I'm pretty sure if you guys were in a similar situation to this, you will shit your pants and you will panic around and you will cry like a maniac. That's what a lot of people will do, right? And even one of the biggest problems with Ironwood's character is the fact that he thinks he's this super genius who knows and has to do everything himself, and the other people who disobey him or go on his back are idiots. That's what makes Ironwood such an awful human being. And in a way, a lot of these haters are kind of the same people because they refuse to learn that. They refuse to think that, oh, this show has something to teach me that I don't know about, that I can learn and I can improve myself. And oh hey, this circumstance that's being shown on screen is really important, and I need to be humble in order to learn and accept whatever that's being shown here. People just don't want it. They just want to whine, complain, and criticize, because when you criticize something, you look so goddamn smart, you know? When you say, okay, I understand this, oh, this is such a great video, or oh, I learned so much from this, you look like a fucking idiot, because in a way, you need to be a fucking idiot in order to learn. But that's good, because being an idiot is better than being a smarty pants. Because if you're an idiot, then you can learn. Like, what the fuck even is writing? Do you even know what the fuck a writing is? I tell you what writing is, okay? If H-Bomber says something is good, then that's good writing. If the H-Bomber says something is bad, then that's bad writing. Same thing. This nostalgia critic, or I don't know, whoever is, super popular, trying to say is very obvious. There is no rule to writing. And writing is just simply a reflection of real life. And in real life, there's no good writing or bad writing. Things are just the way they are. This is just like pure nonsense. You guys have been simply brainwashed because the most popular RWBYtubers are negative RWBYtubers who have constantly, throughout not even just a few, a year or they didn't make a few videos. They have been decades of anti-RWBY critics. Almost 5 or 6 years of constant Sigma grindset of this critical RWBYtubers making critical videos about the so-called good writing, to the point that RWBY being a bachelor and being badly written is just so ingrained in your brain to the point that you just can't think otherwise. Persecuting someone because of their profession? last I checked, in order to have to do something
So,
and to get rights and to help people and to lead people, you need to be a politician. If you're not a politician, then you have to do what Robyn did and go against the authorities. Well, people gave a lot of shit for Robyn for not going with the law, and she didn't win the election. The election was almost clearly rigged, so you can't even blame her. And if you hate Robyn for being a politician, then what the fuck? Bruh, come on. That's just too much doubt, man. Too much doubt. Yeah, illegal, but laws are made by politicians, and politicians are always bribed or just do their own thing. So in a way, laws are kind of dumb, because at the end of the day, people should really do what they think is right themselves. So in that sense, laws are kind of bullshit. I think our current system is really problematic too. This isn't just restricted to RWBY. I think laws themselves are kind of hard and so difficult, because people themselves never really agree with laws, right? We're almost kind of fated to fight with one another on a lot of things, unless we agree on a certain topic, or 99% of us agree on it. But even then, that never really happens. On topic of abortion, none of us really agree. On the topic of religion, none of us really agree. On the topic of what should be do or what is the right thing to do right now, none of us agree. Even Team RWBY and Juniper kind of doesn't agree. That's why kind of the whole confrontation on Volume 8 happened. People just don't agree. At the end of the day, but in my opinion, I think those who are trying to control other people are the worst type of people. Sure, you think that what you're doing is right, but so long as that person is not directly getting in your way, you shouldn't try to control those people. And I would kind of try to control Team RWBY, and Team RWBY and Team Juniper could have helped in evacuating a Mantle and also fighting off Salem or doing their own thing, while Atlas tries to prepare everything to fly into the orbit. But I kind of get it. It was a very difficult circumstance, and if Atlas flew into the sky, RWBY's plan of fixing the Amity Tower and waiting for backup would have kind of fucked up and failed. But to be fair, RWBY could have said, okay, let's together fix the Amity Tower, let's make the Amity Tower go high, and let's send the message, and after sending the message, I'm going to make the Atlas fly, and you guys, do protect Mantle while reinforcements come from other sides. There was so much you could have talked out, but unfortunately, RWBY is just too cold. He just kind of forced Team RWBY's hands to fight against him. It might be legal, doesn't mean it's right. And besides, RWBY already was in a very finicky, too powerful situation. He had 2 council seats. Even if that's legal, that's kind of wrong. This is why I think people's over-reliance on laws and rules are really dumb, because so long as you think that something is legal and you keep giving away a lot of leeway to that, then that's just going to cause a lot of problems. And I think a lot of people's modern day problems are stemming from the fact that people are not following their hearts, what they think is right, and rather saying that, oh, this is legal, so technically it's right. Not things should be the other way around. When you consider a thing in your heart and think that, oh, my heart feels this way, that's why I want to make a law that fits my heart, my feelings. But instead, people just go, oh, the law is this way, that's why I have to feel this way. RWBY is the legal leader, so even if I feel that he's doing the wrong things, I have to repress my own feelings and follow him blindly. We have gone so backwards in the society. We have become so dogmated and brainwashed by these legalities, rules, and social cultures, to the point that we kind of forgot about our own true nature, what our own deep consciousness, what our own feelings, what our own deepest, souls truly want. We have completely have become disconnected from our own souls, from our deepest being, to the point that now we're only following rules and cultures, what the popular trends say, whatever the biggest charismatic dude says, we're following it. If Ironwood who is a charismatic person says something, we follow them. A person like Jock is saying something very elegantly, we follow them because we don't know any better. Okay, that was a really important video, and hope you all enjoyed that one.